Hello, Craig.
Hey, can you hear me?
You're difficult, right?
Yeah. Technical difficulties, right?
I mean, it's amazing. All day long, I have been talking to, I think, the most brilliant IT people on earth, and then a simple webinar software seems to be the biggest issue in the world, right? That is unfair, isn't it?
Yeah, right. Exactly. If you really want to mess up technology, have someone from a software company involved, right?
So, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. How
That's
about
great.
yourself?
I'm exhausted. You're the last one today, so I've been sitting and standing for 9 hours. So I look very much forward to see you and hear your presentation and talk to you. But I also look forward to finish up and get my dinner afterwards. I can tell you.
Yeah, fair enough.
So
Fair enough.
where are you located?
So I'm located in the United States. I personally office out of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Oh,
But
really? Okay.
our United States, most of our people are in Ann Arbor, Michigan,
Uh-huh.
over here.
And isn't the PrintIQ, is it an English or an Australian company?
Yeah, so we started over in New Zealand,
In New Zealand. Oh,
New Zealand and Australia back in 1999, and started growing over there. And then in the last 6 or 7 years, we started growing, moved into to the UK, as well as started over in the United States. So now we are a global company. Yeah.
isn't that fun to be part of a company that has experienced so much growth as you have?
It is. I mean, it's exciting because obviously every region has its own nuances or challenges, and it's also been nice to see and put to test our platform's ability, to scale and to be adapted and customized for people's needs, no matter where they might be. So that's been interesting to see for sure.
So, Print IQ, I always like the name. So the
Yeah.
IQ, I mean, it is for like intelligence. Do you have a lot of like, let's say, smart things in your software that, in your opinion, differentiates it from the competition?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, obviously we're a little biased, but we like to
That's okay.
consider our
Today it's okay.
solution.
So totally okay.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm just in marketing, so that's, I guess that's part of the job. But no, our platform, we do consider it to be game changing. One of the reasons for that is the intelligence, kind of under the hood, if you will, of how PrintIQ works. Yeah, I'm coming at it a little bit of a unique perspective as well, because I actually chose PrintIQ as a customer. Right, I put
Oh,
it in as a
nice.
solution myself
Okay.
after looking at everything that was out there, and the same reasons that it clicked for me as a consumer and somebody who decided to put it in, I think are the same reasons that continue to be relevant for the people that choose it now. And when they see it, they realize the power that's there, the intelligence that's underneath it all.
But it also gives an incredible level of trustworthiness when you communicate about a product that you used to be a user of yourself, right? So, I mean, how long time ago was it that you acquired the Print IQ for your business?
Yeah, sure. It's about 5 years ago for
Five
me
years ago.
now.
So
Yeah,
that was
and
it. So you're kind of an early adopter, basically, right?
yeah, I was. I mean, we were fairly early on, in the United States market, to see it, and again, it was one where I chose it after going and seeing everything that was out there, and so regardless of the time that the company had been over here in the region, it flat out was the best solution as far as the capabilities and how it fit with what we needed at the time. Yeah.
And now you have been, I mean, you have your own operations in the US, obviously. So has the market kind of accepted this upcoming fantastic IQ platform, or how have your customers received you?
Yeah, no, I mean, it is definitely interesting. Again, having been in the Australia and New Zealand region for a lot longer, obviously the customer base there is a little more. They've been using the platform longer. They're more acclimated to it. They've shown sort of the longevity of what the platform looks like. Whereas, we're in growth mode over here in North America as we scale, but our customers, once they see it, I often call it the Christmas morning moment when we're at trade shows, where they come there and when they see some of those game changing things that we do differently, their eyes light up, like they've been given a gift, because it's like, where have you been all my life, right? And and so it's interesting to see, because
I thought that in America was the prawn.
yeah, right, yeah, exactly. But no, it's been good, because a lot of our customers, as many people in the industry, like, everyone's had to diversify. Whether that's naturally getting into new areas, or maybe it's COVID forced them into having the need to acquire other companies or to get into new niches and things that they do. And our platform having the ability to mix and match work from all the different types of printing has really positioned us to be a unique fit. So instead of having silos where they've got different platforms for different things, we actually can be that core part of their business.
It's funny. Obviously, you probably haven't seen what we've done the past 8 hours, but it's funny because it is funny to see, because some companies like CERM, for example, they have chosen a very specific silo, right? We just spoke to Durst, a relatively specific silo, and then the other MIS vendors we spoke to, they have like a much broader perspective to it. So there seems to be either, I mean, of course, it seems to be either a very specialized way or a very broad way. And it's funny because when the day is over, it's pricing, products, resource planning, integration points, workflow things. I mean, so it's kind of funny that you need to branch out, basically, right? But you have chosen to be the one-stop solution, basically, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's, and to the credit of some other ones that have specialized, if there is one specific type of thing that somebody does, there may be a platform out there that handles, 100% of every single thing with that specific niche. And, there may be some areas that we're still developing on certain things, but the power, again, under the hood of how IQ works is all of these things are just, they're a calculator, right? Underneath it all. And the logic of how it's able to understand a machine and what it can do, and the people that run the machine, and all of those types of parameters. And I think it speaks to our power that it can be scaled, regardless of the type of equipment that it is, and regardless of the process. We've built a solution that allows us to be a fit for all of those things and not be hindered.
And now you definitely made me curious. So I will see if you are able to share your screen, or we have to go through the process of rebooting and everything as well. I don't hope so. I'm just teasing. Don't worry.
Sure, no problem. Yeah, let me see if we can get that here.
Are you using a Chrome browser?
No, I'm actually on Edge.
Okay, let's see if it works. I get something here. So let's see. Here we go. I can't see anything. Should it be black?
No.
Okay, here it comes. I see it now. So, Craig, what I will do now, I will just mute myself, and then I will be listening to your presentation. And then when you're done, then let's have a chat. Now it went black again. I don't know what's going on. Oh, here it comes. All right, let's see if it works on Edge browser. I am not sure, but let's see.
Okay.
Take it away.
No worries. Yeah. So just a few quick slides again to talk a little bit more about PrintIQ. We really do intend to build a product that acts as the core part of a business. We are a software platform, but we are not selling software just as a platform to sell you something. We actually are selling you a solution that we intend to take live for your company, to take you and put in something that is really the engine, the core of the business, that touches all the different areas that you need, all the core components of what it takes to run your business. So that is our intention of what we set out to do. Let me see here. I apologize. There we go. So again, I'm Craig Powell. I'm the Customer Success Manager. I have conversations with customers all the way from the lead all the way through to during the build phase, during the implementation, and then even after they go live, to continue to help make sure that they're utilizing the platform, that we're being a good fit for them, to understand their business, both why they buy it in the first place, as well as continuing to know the improvements that they'd like to see made, to facilitate those conversations, to make sure we're always pushing forward on what we are building for people. So, one of the things, again, that makes us unique is that we aren't just selling an off-the-shelf, so to speak, software. We have core functionality that's powerful, that allows you to use our platform in all different types of businesses, in different types of niches, for lots of different purposes. But that powerful core is able to then be customized depending on what people need. We dedicate a team to work with our customers during that implementation phase, where it's a joint relationship where we're building to understand their business, to get the data about all of the things that are required for their equipment, for their inventory, for all of the processes from start to finish. We're helping instruct and teach to empower what we call that super user, somebody who can embrace the system and be there even after go live, to be that resident IQ expert, in the customer's world, to set up new things, new processes, to onboard new people. But we work in a very consultative way, where we're able to take a look at, our experience from the hundreds and hundreds of installations that we've done previously, and also then build through to a solution that's customized really for what the customer needs. The logic, as I said earlier, is the power under the hood of what makes IQ work. It's what makes it tick. We've got that core foundation for how we calculate and estimate jobs, but we're also starting really from day one to incorporate specific data to each customer's location. The equipment, again, the way that it runs, the type of work that you do, the data about your inventory materials and things that you use in the production process, the people that you have. All of that data goes into the system as another layer on top of that foundational logic that we have in order to give you that visible control. So our platform really is it's end to end with estimating, with product ordering. We have e-commerce capabilities, both natively inside the platform for certain instances, as well as the ability to incorporate and integrate with other platforms to push that e-commerce side. And then lastly, the production side of it that takes the order after the estimate side and is a way to track the job through job ticketing, through shop floor data collection, to allow the capture of the reality of production as opposed to just the estimate of how you thought it was going to go. And then push that all the way through to, a pre-invoice. So we do have the ability to invoice out of our platform. We're not a full accounting package. Ultimately, we are going to push those invoice data and payment information down to whatever accounting package, is currently being used. Or if you're maybe moving to a new one as part of the implementation of a new platform, we can integrate and push that. But in order to take it essentially from quote, all the way through to the production, to the shipping and dispatch, and then to the invoice level where we're pushing that out eventually to there. So, it's a single, easy to use application, web-based, meaning you can access through any browser on any platform. So we don't, mind if you're on Mac or PC. It's not an installed program that actually runs. It's just web-based, allows you to access that there, which then, of course, frees you up also to use tablets or potentially to use phones. Clearly, there's, a real estate thing. If you're working with jobs heavily, maybe doing it on a phone, not ideal, but you can still pull it up from a phone, right? Look at it when you're on the go. You want to check in and see how things are going. You can do that by logging in through the web browser, no matter where you are. So again, as I mentioned, started in Australia and New Zealand, and have expanded into Europe, as well as into North America. Have had many installations in the last 6 or 7 years throughout the United States, as well as Canada. Over 65 staff based in these locations. So we are kind of a distributed remote workforce, which means that we've also got everyone covered from a support standpoint, I think 23 out of the 24 hours of the day is the official line there, because we tag team on that support. We have people in every region that are able to get answers for you and understand what's needed and coordinate with the team to get solutions, whether that is at the implementation phase or after you go live. We, of course, are pushing for innovation, for integration into other platforms, and for automation where possible, as that continues to just be the trend. For sometimes doing less with more, sometimes doing it smarter than you would otherwise through automation, to really achieve, getting that profit margin that you're looking for, and getting that streamlined operational flow. That's kind of the dream of everybody that we want to achieve. Some key things just to point out: we do not outsource our development at all. We have all in-house research and development. Our development team, highly engaged, very aggressive with what we do. We put out 2 major releases every year. So we are constantly looking to improve the platform, whether that be from functionality that we've scoped out as something that would be good. But more importantly, we're not just throwing stuff out there that people don't need. I think 80 to 90% of everything that goes into a new release is all driven by customer requested features or ideas that they've thrown our way. Our platform is so powerful. It's interesting to see, actually, because there are times where we get people that become their own experts, even after we train them, and they get so good at using the platform that we'll have members of our team check in with them, and we're impressed with what they're doing, right? Because they've taken it and built it and, integrated it into all these ways inside their business that maybe we didn't even understand in the first place. So it's interesting that feedback then continues to make the product better too, from that feedback we get from our customer base. So we are expanding into other areas. As we talked briefly a second ago, our platform is not built specifically for one type of printing. Our engine's powerful enough to calculate and estimate jobs across all different types of niches or subsets of the industry. General commercial print and digital print. We're very rock solid in those areas. We're able to accommodate for all different types of production paths, but we also can handle mailing and packaging, label space, signage, point of sale. We've got instances of all of those types of things where people are either producing work more specifically for those, or maybe they're doing a mixture of all of those things across all of those different disciplines. So again, founded in 1999, we have very low turnover, and that we have a lot of people like myself that even maybe used to work for customers that that eventually put in our platform, and sometime down the road, through just stuff changing, they even come on board with us because they still recognize our platform as being one that's key, one that's innovative, and they want to be part of that. We reinvest a percentage of our operating margins back into research and development. We don't want to have a stagnant product that's not being pushed forward to be where it needs. So we invest heavily back into our R&D process. Our installations worldwide continue to grow, where we have pretty aggressive growth in all of our regions currently, especially in the UK and North America. And our install base continues to get more diversified across those regions. So while we, of course, historically operated in Australia and New Zealand in those initial, decade or so, we've continued to grow in the US and UK market, where we're getting more and more market share as we progress. Next thing, just integration. So this is one where we have a lot of great partners that we work with. Some of those integrations are, direct, and that they're directly coded inside of PrintIQ for various things. And we push those integrations to really be more robust than just connecting through something like an API. But we have a full set of API, both REST and SOAP, depending on what it is, that allows for us to push and pull data into all different kinds of platforms for all different types of needs, including a CRM on the front end, pre-production through things like InFocus Switch, automation through Tilia Labs for ganging. We also can integrate with various other platforms along the way for other pre-production related needs, and then ultimately on the back end as well for needs at the back end. So, as I mentioned, the core of PrintIQ. When you buy PrintIQ, you've got the core package, which really gives you everything you need in order to take a job from the estimate. So that quote intelligence level, where you're able to price a job very quickly and effectively, and then potentially take payment right there. We have payment gateways that give you the ability to pull in orders that way, take payment for those, push those into the factory to create job tickets, whether that's outsourced entirely, portions of it being outsourced, or producing that yourself, pulling in inventory. So we do have a full inventory management module as part of PrintIQ that allows you to keep up to date on all of the different various things you have in inventory, allocating those to jobs, to put those specifically to where they go, to update your master inventory as part of that process, and then move through your workflow. Take it through all the different steps of job production in the various stages as you produce those jobs, and then ultimately to ship those jobs out, right? To dispatch them out. We can integrate with various platforms, whether that be maybe a third-party delivery service or your own delivery service. We can handle natively inside PrintIQ, or directly integrating services like FedEx and UPS and a variety of others that allow you to get the job shipped, to pull back in the tracking information, the labels, everything you need to produce those jobs and to ship them out after. So again, the core of your business, touching on all of those areas along the way. And I want to circle back and reinforce again that data component. So, we're starting with the data that we are collecting as part of the implementation process, but we also are collecting data along the way about the reality of how that job performed. So shop floor data collection is a big part of our platform, where people can log in and put the time it took them to produce the job, how that machine did as far as the time it took to run it, the actual material used versus what was estimated. All of those data points go into to every single job, which empower us then, after the fact, to have really robust reporting that we have inside of our platform, to give you reports for things like estimated versus actuals, or a whole host of other things. We're pretty intuitive with our ability to produce those reports. So that's really the core of PrintIQ. Obviously, we can go deep dive into other areas, but the ability to create new revenue streams potentially as well is a big part of our platform. We have the concept of web portals, so we can spin up a customer-facing portal for your customers. So if you have PrintIQ, you can empower your customers to actually get into the platform and use it by creating a portal that they log into. And you choose what they see. You choose the products that they're able to order. You even can set some, guides in there as far as what they're able to do with ordering, whether that's ordering something that's a fixed product, or actually interacting with your system to get an estimate out of there and take it all the way through to, putting in the order so that it flows into your production workflow to enable customers 24/7 to work with you, as well as, of course, as I mentioned, integrate with web to print or other e-commerce type solutions through there. Same goes for vendor portals. You have the ability to, if you're outsourcing or having some part of vendor that's part of the process, you can also create portals for them where they can keep track of the work they have with you, in order to get the initial pricing for their portion of the job, as well as put that feedback on accepting the job and kicking off that process. So that's my initial little slideshow there. I will take you. I think we have a few minutes if you want me to take you through and show you some stuff in the platform, or if you have any questions.
It's pretty much up to you, because I thought you were finished with the presentation. Do you want to show something in the platform?
We can. If you have more questions, I can get that ready.
One of the things that I was thinking of, and and that is just because I'm so damn curious.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
sure.
it's like when you talk about the IQ thing that we spoke about before, and also what tick the boxes when you once became a customer with the PrintIQ. Um, with all due respect, I think that MIS systems in general are systems that have a very specific function. So one of the things that I am curious about is that when you do your estimates, is it are you able to? Is it cost-based estimating, or is it what kind of estimation do you do?
Yeah. So again, just like with the power of the platform allows you to make those decisions. Really when we're doing the implementation phase and the early stages of that, one of the things that we got to go over is kind of the philosophy of how you want to price things. Just because everybody's got different nuances, right, to how they price things, but we can do the straightforward with the cost plus. We can layer in different markups at different stages of that process, for individuals that maybe want to have padding in certain areas versus overall markups, right, for other things. We have the opportunity to layer that in. We also can offer in a consulting fashion, really deep dives on things like budgeted hourly rates, and get into the granular of what you're putting into the system to hopefully improve what goes in there to cover off the overhead and all of the other things that
The,
you need to be aware of.
the reason I'm asking, Craig, is because obviously this is the first time you and I meet, so you may not know, but one of my favorite topics is pricing and how to make sure that we get as profitable as possible in this
Yep.
industry. And most ERP systems and MIS systems, they work on full cost models. And when you work with full cost models, basically there is a lot of assumptions that you need to take into consideration. So let's say that if you have a machine that you're utilizing, let's say 70% in your pre-calculations, but when the day is over, you only utilize it 30%, then your costing will basically be entirely wrong. So I was just wondering, because that will require some kind of easy two-way communication between the equipment, utilization, also a business decision on when to adjust prices according to actual use. And some of your colleagues have also talked about OEE seems to be the most important word for some printers these days. And I was just wondering, because I mean, with PrintIQ, I think it's an intriguing that you use the IQ, but I haven't seen it yet, so I'm just curious about that.
Yeah. So yeah, no problem. And actually, if you'd like, I can jump in to speak a little bit to that what you're asking there, if
Yeah,
you'd
let me
like.
put your screen back again, and then I can just add you and me to it, and then we can have a chat about what we see, if that's okay with
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah, no problem. Let me
Oh, I did it wrong. You
choose the right
here.
one here.
Hmm.
All right, can you see that? Okay,
I can see it fine now. Okay, super. So that is
perfect.
an overview of
Yeah,
different uh,
yeah. So when we first log in, we
parameters.
we have yeah, we have the ability to work off of widgets, and underneath it, they're powered by reports. So these can go, be all kinds of different things from a reporting side, where we're able to pull through. In this case, we're showing, breakdown by account managers, but we also can do charts in different ways to show outstanding quotes. Maybe it's job specific stuff, so job production details to show the status of where things are at. These dashboards are tied to the user. So when you log in, you're
Ah,
actually
you
able to
basically
custom.
you position everything to your needs, basically.
Correct. Yeah. So
Mhm.
you're able to show. So you only are showing the things that are relevant to that particular person's world, right? Because it's not that they don't care, but they kind of don't care, right? They want to know about the things that they're working on. So you can tailor that to.
Commissions, profits, right?
Yeah. Exactly. You're right. But the other thing that we try to do, and to speak more again to that concept of the IQ, is we're very much as an industry in this place where you've got lifelong career estimators, right, who have decades and decades of experience. But we're entering into a place where there's not necessarily lots of new people coming in, right, that are like so steeped in the knowledge of how to do that. And so there's a whole lot of work that most businesses do that really lends itself where you want to empower people like customer, service people or salespeople, even, right, to be able to interact with a system that doesn't require somebody to sit there and go through every detail and have the knowledge and experience to go through every nuance of production,
So,
because there's
so,
probably
so
a large
sorry to,
percentage of that.
sorry to interrupt you. So does that mean, for example, like, I mean, because as you say, if it is about less experienced people when it gets to the print thing, it could be instead of identifying how many sheets is going to be printed, you basically say what you need, and then the system calculates itself how many sheets is needed for that particular job. That is a kind of
Correct.
example. Right? Mhm.
Exactly, yeah. And so inside of PrintIQ, again, one of our core things that we offer is the ability of you can do custom products, which we won't even get into this, but basically, if you were to get into custom products, that would be someone where you're answering every single detail about every part of the production process. You know exactly what type of machine it's running on. Getting into all the details there. But we have quick quotes, which are more of a templated based approach, where if you were to come in here as a customer service person, as a sales rep, or again, as I mentioned, we can turn this to be customer facing, where
Mm.
your customer has a login. They can actually come in and see based on more of a templated approach where
Wow.
they can choose like an e-commerce platform
Yeah,
almost,
precisely. Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I was just about to say that this looks like any web to print solution that you buy your greeting cards from, right? Basically, you have like, is this like just images, or is it also could it be let's say that you have a customer that created three versions of a postcard. Then it could
Yep.
be that customer's postcards that come up. So you say, oh, it's the red one I need. And then you click on the red one, and then you have that as a template.
Correct. Yes, and so we've got some great success in plant type solutions as well, where you maybe have that type of scenario, right, where you've got fixed products where like mostly everything's defined with the exception of maybe it's a different version of artwork, or maybe there's some small component. You can productize the concept of a production to enable people to order from there. So they can come in here and they can say maybe they want to get a rack card. And to clarify again, you can even control what people see down to the user level. So if you only want certain people to order certain things or types of things, you can control that, whether that's internal or customers as well.
Mhm.
But they can come in here to the platform, and we've essentially taken the brain, so to speak, of an estimator or a team of people who can estimate, and built that into the logic under the hood of PrintIQ.
Mhm.
So now instead of you needing to know all these things, it's literally just answer this handful of questions,
Mhm.
right? So
Super nice. Mhm.
yeah. So like maybe they just have to answer what stock it's
Mhm.
going to go on. You can predefine or give them
Options.
many options or only a few.
Mhm.
You can choose that. You'll also notice that an eye popped up over here. Anytime you see an eye in PrintIQ, it's something you can interact with. So because of the inventory module right here, right out of the gate, I can already look and see that these are the options that the system already knows would be possible for this product, and here's the number of sheets that I have in inventory without
That's
even having to
nice.
leave the screen.
Yeah, because that is nice. Because I worked in a printing company, and often if you were like special print runs, you had to sometimes go to the warehouse to see what paper you physically had in the warehouse in order to do that. This is pretty cool.
Exactly, yeah. So we continue down the process, and again, you're kind of predefining what options are available here. So you can choose CMYK2 sides. Here we have fixed sizes for these rack cards, but you also could have the ability for them to type in the size that they wanted as well,
Mm-hmm.
if you would like to. We can say we're going to do a matte laminate on both sides, and then I'm going to say get price.
Mm-hmm.
And here's where, to your point or your question a little bit ago, right now under the hood of this, what you're not seeing is that PrintIQ is not just going down some predefined
No, no,
path
no. This is
that
this
you
is a
put
real
through.
calculation, basically. Yeah,
Exactly,
yeah, yeah,
correct.
yeah.
So you can see that it's pulled through some information. It's come back and said, for 100 of these, it's going to be this price. And right here, we can very quickly say, okay, but I also want 400. I also want 800 or 1,000, and I'm going to get price. and now it's going to go through and give me prices for all of those as well. So you very quickly can scale it up without having to reinvent the wheel, right, every single time. To choose that, you also could scale it based on, the number
How
of
many
versions you have.
Yeah.
Yeah, correct. So if you have all the different versions, then you can come back and see that there. You can see already that, like, I can just infer without even going into the details that once we get up into here, we're probably gaining because we're going to run it on equipment where higher volume is better, right? In order to know.
I would not be a customer buying 400 pieces in that shop, I tell you.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Exactly. Really quickly before I get into the meat and potatoes, we also have the ability to, to incorporate sales tax, whether that be internal with just tax tables that you manually maintain inside of IQ, or we have the ability to interface with tax calculation tools like TaxJar or Avalara to, get the tax automated in that fashion. But the other thing we can do here is really quickly on the fly on the screen, you can actually control the markup, whether you want to add specific dollars or a percentage.
So
you can do that.
So the prices that you show above, are they like cost prices, or are they like selling prices?
Yeah.
Because,
So
I mean,
these
when
would
you
be selling.
oh, you
These
have the
would be
reseller option. Sorry, I can see that now. Yeah.
Yeah. So these would be there, and you can see kind of the high level, right, of the breakdown here. But here's where the cool thing, which is really probably what you're wanting to see, right, is the view pricing details.
Yeah. So you can
which
see
again,
exactly how
you
it's
can
calculated.
control.
Yeah.
You can control this based on the user. So if you don't want people to see this clearly, you can eliminate that. But inside of here, you can see this is the breakdown. And this is a simple job, so obviously there's not as many moving parts as potentially other jobs. But you can see this is the show me your work, right, for PrintIQ. And you can do it for each one of those things along the way so that you can show all of the details for here's the paper stock, the printing, lamination, the guillotine cutting, right, all of those things. But the cool thing is that not only is it not only going down one production path for when it estimates things, it actually goes through every single possible way that it could produce that job. It comes back in the quote to the price that's the most affordable in order for you to win the job, but it actually retains every other possible option that it went through. So you can drop down this menu and you can actually see all of the ways the system is aware of that you could produce this job.
Amazing.
And to your question earlier about maybe you've got a machine that is going to be loaded up for a week because you got some big job that's come in. And even though the system came back and said, produce it on the Acurio 6100, you know that it's tied up. So you can come down and say, I actually need to put it on the Xerox iGen.
Yeah.
You can select that and it will reflow that job to go on that one in one click without having to requote the job.
That's smart, and that is like some of the things that I was asking about, because I mean, with all due respect, I think that, I mean, of course we got a little stressed because you were thrown into it because of the technical hiccups. But when you see a system like PrintIQ and you compare it, I mean. David, your colleague David, he specifically asked for the last session because of your timing, right? But that also it's great and a curse, because now I have seen all the others, so now I know exactly what to ask you, right?
Sure.
Totally unfair, right?
Yeah.
No. So I was just thinking, because I mean, your presentation is not bad at all, but this is freaking cool, because I mean, basically here you see some of the things that people are using in a print shop that is I wouldn't say cause challenges, but it's something that basically people need in a everyday's life to understand why PrintIQ potentially differs from any other solution in the market, right?
Sure, definitely. And the power is there as far as what we're talking. I understand we're down to the last few minutes or whatever of the presentation, but but beyond that, everything starts at the estimate level, right? We believe firmly that getting it right at the beginning, it flows through and controls and affects so many other things downstream, that we put that effort into really giving you the options to be as accurate as possible at that front end. But then the job flows through based off of the data that it's given. So that as it moves through the different stages, we work off of these boards inside of IQ that allow you to see the jobs based on the status that they're at. So, you can filter these things down to what equipment is running on, down to what process it's in, along the way, like, is it production, is it pre-production, and so on, in order to follow the job all the way through from the beginning, all the way through to the end to the shipping.
So, Craig,
Yep.
when you meet customers, um, uh, I mean, do you have in your mind, and you have been a printer yourself, do you have
Yep.
any competition that gets close to what you just shown here, or are you unique in that market, and then you have to convince people that being new is not bad, or what is the challenge for a company
Sure.
like PrintIQ?
Yeah, sure. I mean, again, there's, and I don't presume to know all of the details of exactly how all of our competitors do it by any means.
That's fair
So,
enough.
but but definitely, I do believe that the level of detail, with the ability to calculate the way that we do, it's game changing. I think that we are very unique in that way. Also, considering the fact that you can mix and match jobs together, right? So say you've got a rack card, but you also have a label, and maybe you also have a sign that you're going to produce. You can mix and match those, and right there in one quote, the system tracks down production paths and pricing for every single one of those things, all inside of one quote, one estimate. And then you have the ability to mix those things together, which I believe makes us unique in the market, in that the ability to do that.
Super nice. One more question, if
Yep.
okay with you. In something as easy as your solution seems to be, if you are, let's say, an online printer that needs to gang the jobs, do you have easy
Mhm.
gang pricing engines as well?
Well, great that you asked that. So we do have the concept of ganging inside of IQ, where we can gang jobs in the production sense of it, where you can gang them maybe based on the material that it's going to go on, after the fact. But one of the things we're rolling out in an upcoming version is actually ganging at the estimate. So we
Fantastic.
now are going to offer the capability of ganging jobs together and getting the ganging pricing at the estimate level, which will allow you to sharpen the pencil and be even more competitive while retaining, the
Your
profit
margins.
margin that
Yeah.
you're looking for. Yeah.
And then, very last question, I promise you, because it's been a long day, but it's been a fun day.
Sure, sure. Yeah.
Craig, it's obviously browser based. What
Yep.
about APIs and integration to third parties? Is that something that you offer or can do?
We do. Yeah, we do. We have a very robust offering. In fact, we're pretty generous, I would say, in our ability to do that, and that we have an integrate module that's available for purchase, that really gives the API access potentially for anything you want. Now, clearly, we've got teams of people that can help with it, but we also have people where we provide the resources for the API library of calls and webhooks. We provide that information, and it allows us to be able to push and pull data across all different types of platforms. And we've got several dozen now at this point that we have relationships with, that we've integrated with.
Fantastic. Will you be at Printing United?
We will be at Printing United. We will be first. Before that, we'll actually be at the print show in the UK.
Okay.
And then we will be at Printing United also, yes, in the fall. And we'd love
Fantastic.
people to come up.
I will hope to see you there. It was a great meeting. You're here online, and it's always nicer to meet people in person. And I really thank you for the your presentation. I think it was great to see PrintIQ. I have seen you so many times on trade shows. Never had time to go and see what you're actually doing. Super cool. So thank you very much for your time here.